And today we have an incredible one.
We do! We're talking about Marcus Aurelius, the Philosopher King.
This is such a remarkable story because Marcus Aurelius wasn't just a ruler, governing Rome in the 2nd century. He was a dedicated Stoic.
Right.
And we have his personal thoughts, his private journal, 12 volumes we know as the Meditations, or its original title was probably To Myself. It's a literal window into the soul of the most powerful man on earth.
And that's our mission today, really, to get past the statues, the big historical headlines. We want to understand the man who tried to live Plato's big idea, the philosopher ruling the state.
Well, that state was basically collapsing around him.
Exactly. War, plague, constant crisis. How does that philosophy actually hold up when the world outside is pure chaos?
It's the ultimate stress test for Stoicism, isn't it? And Marcus Aurelius he's the last great representative of Roman Stoicism. His whole life is a test case.
So to get that, we can't start with the emperor. We have to start with the boy.
The boy. Mark Annius Catilius Severus.
Okay, so let's unpack his formation, because this isn't your typical story of a hard-bitten general who becomes emperor.
Not at all. He gets this excellent education, which was, standard for the elite. The focus was heavily on rhetoric, the art of persuasion.
Which was the fast track to a political career.
It was. But that standard path gets completely derailed, in a good way, by one of his teachers, a man named Diognetus. And Diognetus didn't just teach him from books. He introduced Marcus to philosophy as a way of life. This was a radical shift.
A total change in perspective.
The sources say Diognetus freed him from superstition, got him writing philosophical dialogues, and, this is the key part, pushed him toward this incredibly simple lifestyle.
And when you say simple, you're underselling it. I mean, the stories are pretty wild.
They are. He starts sleeping on bare boards.
This are wooden planks.
Wooden planks, with just an animal hide for a blanket. Think about that. This is the kid being groomed to be the emperor of Rome, and he's choosing to be uncomfortable.
It's pure self-discipline?
It is. It's about training yourself to be independent of comfort, of luxury. That's a core Stoic idea right there. Your inner peace shouldn't depend on having a soft bed.
And he also credits his mother, Domitia Lucilla, for a lot of that, right? For his piety, generosity, and simple way of life.
Absolutely. That moral foundation was there early on, long before the empire landed on his shoulders.
And his rise to power was pretty quick. He was adopted by the Emperor Antoninus Pius in 139.
And that just turbocharged his career. But even before that, the previous emperor, Hadrian, absolutely loved the kid.
Right. Hadrian had that great nickname for him, Verissimus.
Most truthful.
Yeah.
It's a play on his original name, Verus, which means truthful. What a compliment to get from an emperor. It suggests he had this, inherent integrity.
So he's climbing the ladder, getting consulships, but then at age 25, he makes another huge shift.
A huge one. He just drops rhetoric completely.
He'd mastered it and then just walked away.
Yeah, he chose the art of life over the art of speech. His focus shifts entirely to Stoicism, and the person who really cements that is his tutor, Quintus Junius Rusticus.
Who gives him the writings of Epictetus.
Yes, the former slave turned great Stoic teacher. And that's the catalyst. Epictetus's whole thing is focus only on what you can control. Your thoughts, your reactions, your character.
Everything else is out of your hands. Wealth, health, what people think of you.
All of it. It's indifferent. And once Marcus grabs onto that, it's not just a theory anymore. It becomes the operating system he uses to run the Roman Empire.
And that system gets tested almost immediately. In 161, he starts his reign. But he's not alone. He's ruling with Lucius Verus.
And they were a study in contrast, a complete foil for Marcus.
How so?
Well, Marcus always had the final say, but his co-emperor, Lucius Verus, the sources describe him as known for immorality and a debauched life.
So Marcus is paired with the living embodiment of everything Stoicism warns against.
Pretty much. All the excess, the attachment to pleasure. But despite that, Marcus was an incredibly responsible ruler. He followed the traditions of his predecessor, Antoninus Pius.
He had this deep respect for the Senate. I mean, he would ask their permission for funds.
Which is wild for an emperor. And he made this promise that he would never allow a senator to be executed. He was all about stability, tradition, no novelty.
He really saw himself as a servant of the state. You see it in his social program.
Like the alimentary fund, yeah. To support orphans of Roman citizens, it's that civic duty in practice.
But the thing that always gets me is his financial creativity. The wars were bankrupting the state. Instead of just cranking up taxes on the provinces, which would have been the easy way out,
he does something absolutely brilliant and, frankly, shocking. He holds an auction.
A massive auction.
Yeah.
At the Forum of Trajan. And he sells off the imperial family's own stuff.
Everything. Gold, crystal cups, his wife's silk clothing, jewels from Hadrian's private vault, famous statues and paintings. He sold the crown jewels to fund the army.
That's more than just clever accounting, isn't it?
Oh, it's a huge Stoic statement. He's showing everyone that the real value of the state isn't in all this fancy stuff.
Right?
It's in its stability, its integrity. He chose duty over luxury. That one act just sums up his entire philosophy of leadership.
And even with all that financial pressure, he's still funding education. He sets up 4 state-funded philosophy chairs in Athens.
And not just for Stoicism.
No, for all the major schools. Academic, peripatetic, Stoic, and even the Epicureans.
Which is amazing. He's a Stoic, but he's using state money to fund his rivals, the Epicureans, who basically preach the opposite of public duty. It shows this incredible intellectual confidence.
Yeah, that the pursuit of truth matters wherever it leads.
Exactly.
And all this is happening during what historians call a golden age, but for Marcus, it must have felt more like the golden age of calamity.
That's a perfect way to put it. His entire reign was just one crisis after another. It was relentless.
So you have the Tiber flooding causing famine in Rome.
Then a huge earthquake devastates the city of Smyrna. He has to pour money into rebuilding it.
And wars, constant wars. The Parthians in the east, then the Marcomanni and the Quadi on the Danube frontier. He spent years on the battlefield away from Rome.
And then, the big one, the Antonine Plague.
The ultimate historical horror.
It comes back with the army from the east around 165. It was probably smallpox or measles. It just tore through the empire, wiped out maybe a third of the population in some places. It crippled the army, the economy. I mean, he was governing a dying empire.
This incredible pressure just sets the stage for what is, I think, the ultimate test of his character, the revolt of Avidius Cassius in 175.
This is the moment. This is where you find out if the philosophy is real or just talk.
So Cassius is the successful general in Syria. He hears a rumor that Marcus is dead, and he declares himself emperor.
And Marcus's reaction is just not what you'd expect. He's not consumed by rage or this need for vengeance. He just sees it as another external event that needs to be managed. He was so restrained.
He wouldn't authorize any harsh measures against Cassius's family, his kids.
Right. And you have to wonder, wasn't that a bit reckless politically? I mean, a ruthless ruler would want to make an example out of them.
But the most amazing part is when they capture the letters. The whole conspiracy laid out.
The list of names.
Yeah.
Every senator, every official who supported Cassius.
And he ordered them burned.
Burned. Unread.
Unread.
He says, and the sources are clear on this, he did it so as not to learn the names of his enemies and not hate them involuntarily.
Oh.
It's the highest form of Stoic practice. He's actively protecting his own inner peace, his tranquility, even if it means sacrificing political intelligence. He decided keeping his own soul clean was more important than punishing every traitor.
When people criticized him for being too lenient, his response was just perfect.
Pure Stoicism. He said, "We do not honor the gods so poorly, nor do we live so poorly that he could win." He trusted his own virtue to be his best defense.
So he could control his reaction to a civil war, but some of the hardest tests were probably much closer to home. We have to talk about his wife, Faustina.
Ah, yes, the rumors. The gossips in Rome claim she was constantly unfaithful, choosing lovers from sailors and gladiators. It was the talk of the town.
A huge political vulnerability for an emperor who prized virtue.
Yeah.
And yet he never divorced her.
No. And when he was advised to, his supposed response was so pragmatic. If I divorce my wife, I will have to return her dowry.
And the dowry wasn't money.
The dowry was the imperial power itself. She was the daughter of the previous emperor. Divorcing her could have kicked off a succession crisis, a political disaster far worse than a few rumors.
So he chose stability over personal pride, which is, again, such a Stoic calculation.
And for all the rumors, when she died, he honored her deeply. Built her a temple, had her deified, called her mother of the camps.
He was a pragmatist as much as a philosopher.
Exactly, he had to be.
So let's talk about the legacy he left behind. The meditations, these weren't for us, they were for him. A private journal.
Spiritual diary, yeah. And what it reveals is a man wrestling with this profound pessimism about everything.
He's constantly writing about how brief everything is, time is a swift stream, life is just an insignificant moment.
He saw history as just this monotonous cycle. People are born, they get married, they get sick, they die, they fight, they flatter. It's all the same, everything repeats itself.
He called eternal glory pure vanity. because everything just sinks into complete oblivion.
So this is the key question, right? If he thought it was all meaningless and fleeting, why didn't he just give up? What was the point?
And that's the paradox he solves. He argues that while everything outside of you is futile, the one thing that has real value is the pursuit of virtue and duty.
Because that's the only thing you can actually control.
Exactly. His whole goal became about guarding his inner genius, his rational soul, from being corrupted, to do every single task.
No matter how small.
As worthy of a Roman and a man, with freedom and justice, and this is the kicker, to do it as if it were the last in your life.
That's what gave meaning to the monotony, that sense of total responsibility.
And that rational approach even informs his one mention of the Christians.
It's a fascinating detail. He didn't criticize them for being willing to die. He criticized the way they were willing to die.
He saw it as militancy and theatricality, a kind of stubborn performance.
Yes, rather than a decision that came from calm, rational judgment. He was a traditionalist. He also couldn't stand their intolerance for other beliefs, which just clashed with his whole worldview.
And his life of duty finally ends in 180 AD, probably from the plague. But his final sorrow wasn't for himself.
No, it's just heartbreaking. He basically said he wasn't sad about dying. He was sad because he had to leave the empire to his son, Commodus.
Who was already showing signs of being a cruel, reckless disaster.
Marcus knew. He knew the ideal of the philosopher king was about to end, that so much of his work was about to be undone.
And yet his memory survived. That famous bronze equestrian statue of him is still in Rome.
And only because people in the Middle Ages thought it was Constantine, the first Christian emperor.
An amazing accident of history. So, in the end, Marcus Aurelius did it. He was Plato's ideal, a philosophical ruler who governed with virtue through an age of absolute catastrophe.
He defined value not by glory or wealth, but by civic duty, even while he was privately writing about how futile it all was.
It's the ultimate paradox. He believed ambition was vanity, but his commitment to his job, to governing with this incredible clemency and responsibility, it never wavered.
So this brings up a thought for you to chew on. Marcus Aurelius knew that life was fleeting. He knew his own son was probably going to ruin his legacy, and he did his duty anyway. If a man who saw the ultimate meaninglessness in things still chose to act with such extreme personal responsibility, what does that say about the value you place on your own daily duties, even the ones that seem monotonous or, completely futile?
Join us and keep your curiosity well fed. Who knows? The next video might be exactly what you didn't know you needed.